everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I am making taco soup for dinner. I've had a lot of requests over the last couple years to share my taco soup recipe. There's nothing special about it. It's pretty much the same one that I see all over the internet, but I am going to share it with you anyway because I have had requests for it. And this is going to be 0 smart points on Weight Watchers Freestyle. Also, I'll tell you a couple things you can do that will add points if you want to make it a little bit different. So, first off, this is going to be a ground chicken taco soup, which I have never done it before with ground chicken. So I'm actually kind of excited to try it because I am a huge chicken fan. So this is the extra lean ground chicken, so it's 0 smart points. You can use extra lean ground turkey as well and also make it 0. If you are a beef eater, which I'm not much of a beef person, never have been, but if you are, if you use like the 93.7 or the 96.4 ground beef, this would still be really low smart points because the beans are all 0 now. So you could go ahead and just use that. So here's my ground chicken. This is my homemade ranch seasoning mix. I have shared this with you guys before, but I will link the ingredients. I'll write out the ingredients down below. I just prefer to make my own ranch seasoning. Homemade taco seasoning. Wow, that shows up really orange on the screen. Anyway, I will also link all the ingredients that I use for my taco seasoning down below as well. So again, I just make my own taco seasoning because I keep a lot of spices on hand. So it's really super easy. I guarantee you probably have most of the spices on hand to make both of these, and it is so much cheaper. And so I have that. I'm gonna need some chicken broth. I just always get the free range low sodium chicken broth. That way it's, you know, lower in sodium. I will use probably this whole thing. This is 32 ounces. I might only use just like 3 cups, but we'll see. I just kind of eyeball it. It's another reason why doing recipes like this is kind of difficult because I don't really measure. I got some organic pinto beans, so I will rinse and drain these. I'm going to rinse and drain all of the beans, so that way it gets all the extra sodium and all that off of there. So I have some organic black beans, some organic garbanzo beans, and some organic dark red kidney beans. Now when I buy beans, you guys probably notice in my grocery hauls, I do try to buy no salt added, but they did not have any no salt added in this variety. And so I'll just go ahead and rinse these really well before I put them in there. But I did find some no salt added tomatoes. So I got 1 can of Rotel. This kind of adds just a little bit of spiciness to the taco soup. So this is no salt added diced. It's like diced tomatoes and green chilies. And then I just got 1 can of diced tomatoes, no salt added. So it's really easy to make your own adjustments to this. Like with the Rotel, this is a little bit spicy, so they do have a mild one you could use. You could get fire roasted tomatoes, which I have used in them before, which is really good. You can change up the beans. If you don't like garbanzo beans, you don't have to add those. You could do white beans. I mean, there's so much you could do with this recipe to make it your own. I am going to be using this multi-cooker for it, so it'll be just in 1 pot. This is from Corsori, and I have been really enjoying trying this out. So it does oven, so you can roast and bake. You can use, it's like a stove, you can boil, brown, and simmer and saute and steam, or you can do like a slow cooker and that just has low, medium, high. So far I've done it as a slow cooker, which it worked really, really well. I've also used it as a stove for making some soup, and I have not used the oven version of it yet. So I thought about getting a chicken and trying to roast a chicken in there and seeing how that happens. Plus there's manual and then all these buttons here. So let's just go ahead and get started with this recipe. Okay, so I'm going to cook this over to brown so this can heat up. You should see it says 20 minutes on here and 350 degrees. So I'm going to let that heat up. I'm going to go ahead and put the ground chicken in there so it can brown up as it heats up. And then I have a lot of cans to open. Why can't all cans be flip top like that? That would be really nice. I'm going to go open up all the cans of beans while this is browning and get them all drained and rinsed, and then I will be right back with you. So the chicken is browning up nicely. This is what I love about this cooker, is that you can just do everything in one. Since I use the extra lean, I don't have to drain anything off, and it's just all in one pot meal. I will have a link to this down below. So next up, so this all browned up. So you just want to brown up all your meat, whatever meat you use, just get it all browned up. Now if you do use anything besides extra lean turkey or extra lean chicken, you may want to drain it off a little bit, because I've noticed that even the 93.7 beef or the 96.4 beef, it does have a little bit of fat. So it's up to you if you want to drain it off or not. I typically do whenever I do anything with beef. I'll drain it off. Okay, so there is that. So next I am going to go ahead and add my spices in. So I just sprinkle them all over there. And I just kind of mix it in with my beef, just kind of add some flavor. Now I don't add any extra salt or anything like that to this, because I feel like you get enough from the little bit that's going to be in my beans and all that, and the chicken broth. So I just prefer not to add any of that. So I just mix up all the seasonings here, and then I'm going to add my beans. So I just put all the beans into one big bowl. So I drained them and rinsed them. I rinsed them really well. I always rinse my beans until they just feel completely free of all that stuff that's on them. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And again, I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. I'm trying to do this so I don't get my hand right there in the camera like I usually do in all my cooking videos. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add my diced tomatoes. Again, these are no salt added, so that helps with the sodium. And then my no salt added Rotel tomatoes. And that's what's going to add a little bit of spice to it. I'm going to mix this up here a little bit. And honestly, as far as the chicken broth goes, I'm just going to put enough in there to where it just makes it kind of soupy. So it's anywhere between 3 to 4 cups. It just really depends on how thick or thin that you want this. I think I'm going to end up putting almost the entire thing in there. Okay, so yes, I used about 3 cups, so about 3 cups of broth. But again, it's going to be your specifications, however you like it. I do like to just try to save a little bit of this, because when I heat it up, when I eat this later on, it kind of thickens up a little bit. So I like to keep a little bit of chicken broth on hand. When I heat it up, I add just a little bit of broth on there, just to kind of thin it out a little bit when I heat it up. So now that's how that looks. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to set it to next. Okay, so I set it to the simmer setting, and that puts it at 200 degrees, and it's saying 4 hours, which is, I'll probably cook it for about 3, because that'll put it about 6 o'clock, because I'm making a beef stew for my husband, and so that's going to be ready about 6 o'clock. So I'm going to do it for about 3 hours. I don't think you need the full 4 hours, so I'm just going to do it for 3 hours. And actually, it's pretty much done as it is right now. It just can heat it all up, but the longer you let the flavors kind of melt together and let those spices get in there, the much better it tastes. And I swear this soup tastes better the next day. So highly recommend that. Now for toppings, I'm just going to eat it like this, and I'll use a little bit of non-fat Greek yogurt on top, or you could use fat-free sour cream. Since this is 0 points and I don't have very many points today, I may just do the sour cream because I do like the taste of sour cream better. You could serve this with some baked Tostitos, which is another thing I used to do, but I cannot find those for the life of me in my stores, so I'm going to leave that off. You could also do some like tortilla strips. I think I may have some of those, so I may put that on there. You can put some fat-free cheese on there. So I think tonight what I'm going to do is put a little bit of fat-free cheese, do some of the fat-free sour cream. If I have any tortilla strips, I'll put those on there. And then I love it with some green onion on top. I love green onion in anything, but I love this with green onion. So I will show you what my bowl looks like when it's all done. I'll also show you what this looks like after it's been simmering for a few hours as well. I figured I should show you the lid. So I really like this lid too. I was going to show you guys this. I love how it's like a kind of like a rubber lid here, so it makes it so it really grips on there. It's really nice. I really like it. And again, it worked really good with slow cooking as well. It provided a seal on there. I love how these little rubber grippers to be able to pick it up and take it out really easily, and it cleans really well. I love everything about this. It also came with this. So it came with this rack as well. So this is something I have not used yet, but I'm going to go ahead and try it out, and I will be sure to share all the recipes that I cook in this so I can let you know how I like it. But so far, with the few things that I have made in it, I love it. You can do yogurt in here and rice in here as well. I'm really nervous about making my own yogurt, so I probably won't do it, but I will definitely use it as a rice cooker. But as soon as this is done cooking, I will show you what it looks like, and then I will show you what my bowl looks like.